So part of the process at Amazon is getting ungated so that you're allowed to sell toys.
And other things.
Electronics, health and beauty. Well, I just got the email during the show. I got ungated.
Let's go.
In Funko Pops. Like these vinyl things. Where is it? These are Funko Pops. Like these, you know, the little figures of like Michael Jordan and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so I can sell these on Amazon now. And I'm thrilled. That's really exciting. That means probably that I am allowed to sell toys. I would hope. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I have to look at the email, but you can sell brands approved in the category only. So
what is the category?
I think it's Funko Pop.
Okay, so that's not toys.
You have been approved to sell Funko, the brand Funko.
Okay.
You can sell the brand in the approved categories only. To sell in other categories, you may need to reapply for additional categories.
Okay. But
that's awesome.
Step forward.
Please note this approval applies to the listed product and brand as applicable only and does not to other product brand categories that require approval.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
I love that. I'm really excited. So are side hustles important?
Mm-hmm. Are they? Yeah. I mean, I think it really depends. To me, there's two distinctions. I mean, there's a distinction of side hustle and there's a distinction of, hey, this is what I'm trying to transition to doing full time. So like, to me, a side hustle, the true definition of a side hustle is not something that you're going to do that you have ambitions of doing full time. It's just something that you do to supplement income, you know, something that you do to kind of, you know, just get yourself extra money. Whereas what we're doing with FBA is we're trying to turn this into our full-time thing so we can leave the 9-to-5 life. And so to me, I don't really view what we're doing as a side hustle now, like in past years it has been, but now I feel like this is what we do and we're trying to grow it.
Right. And I also think that there's a lot in that, though. I mean, I think when you're working as hard as we work to build something, I think if side hustles are very interesting. Because I think when you have a side hustle and you are working to build that side hustle, it is a craft in itself to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I mean, we talked about it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really be patient to have success at the level that we're trying to have success at. So for me, it's very difficult to be patient. I'm not very patient. And I know this is breaking news to you.
Right.
So I think you have to pick the right side hustle. Right. Because I do think, and I know I've said this 1,000 times on the show, but one of my favorite sayings is your paycheck is the drug they give you to make you forget about your dreams. And for me at Yelp, that's very much the case. I make insane money at Yelp. It is a great company to work for. The benefits are insane. The work atmosphere is insane. They just gave us $450 in our paycheck last week just so we could buy and upgrade our work from home setups. And then they sent us a $400 headset, a wireless headset so that you can walk around at home and be more comfortable working at home. Like the benefit, the health insurance on one level is absolutely free for full health insurance. Like it's an incredible place to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, for us, we're top producers. We're both making over $100,000. I made $200,000 last year. And I still want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because I want to work
for
myself.
There's not a purpose.
Yeah, there's no end goal.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm debt-free. I have a nice house. Like, I'm remodeling my bathrooms, which are driving me nuts. I have nice cars. Ooh, we got to talk about cars too. I have nice cars. Like I have nice things.
Yeah.
But I want to be independently wealthy. I don't want to be. What's the right way to say this? I don't want to be reliant on the man. You know, like I want to get out of that.
For me, like I'm with you on that. I 100% agree with you. I feel that same way. But also a big part of this for me is that I want my time back. Like I want to be able to, like there's a guy I follow in the Subaru community on YouTube who all he does is YouTube. He has a whole channel dedicated to, learning how to work on your car, like becoming confident in the garage working on your car.
Yep.
and it's just amazing to me the simplicity of what he does, and he's in a place where he's able to literally to make money and do the things that he has to do. He works on his car. He YouTubes, and that's like the place that I want to get to. I want to be able, like, one of the things that I came to a realization of, like in the last couple of weeks, is like, man, I would love to. There is one particular shop in Arizona that I wish I would have gone to for my Subaru before we moved. But we moved. I had to kind of do my thing, whatever. All that stuff happened for a reason.
Yes.
But there's a shop, one shop in particular in Scottsdale that I want to take my car to and do a bunch of stuff to it. But I can't do that while I'm locked up to a 9 to 5 and while we are in this position. And so that's being able to have the freedom at any time to just go and do something is what I want. I don't want to have to be like, oh, well, we want to go to Vegas next month, so I better put PTO in on Friday. No, screw that. Let's just go. That's like the position I want to get to.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think Marcus makes a really good point. Your side hustle better be something that can become your number one, because what's the point of doing it if you're not making real money? I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amazon, the reason I like, so what we're doing is just Google search Amazon FBA, Frank Boy Alpha, Amazon FBA. It's a process and it takes effort and energy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about that. But this is a big step forward, what we got today. Getting what's called Ungated in toys, dude, that's a big deal. That is, now you can start, it's now an investment like the stock market. And to me, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because, frankly, I don't know what it would take for me to leave Yelp at this point. We've talked about dollar figures, but it'd have to be like 30, 40, 50 grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not out of the realm of possibility on Amazon FBA.
Not
if
at all.
you take your time and follow the process.
Yeah.
And so far we've done that.
Yeah.
And it is paying off.
I think the where the rubber meets the road with side hustles, and particularly for us, and this really is what I'm still trying to figure out, is at what point, what is what I like to call the launch pad point in your scaling of your side hustle. So what is the point when you're going to take the leap of faith and leave your 9 to 5 so that you can put in the time on your side hustle? Because that's the issue with most side hustles. You'll grow it. You'll get it to a point where you're maxed out on time, so you can't give it more nurturing. Like, think of it as a plant. You're basically at a point where you can't give it the water it needs to grow. And so you get to this point where it's like, okay, I'm doing $10,000 a month on FBA, but if I had 8 hours or 6 hours a day to dedicate to it, I could be doing 30 or 40. So at what point do you just take the leap of faith? That's the question that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that. Jim Gouda, sorry if I mispronounced that, hits me on the DMs and says, at some point, you're just going to have to believe in it. Because working a full-time job, you're not going to get the opportunity to make the money you want to make. So I guess the question is, why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm doing it because I don't want to work for the man anymore.
Yeah, and
Right?
that's
the why is really interesting.
Well, I think the why for us is crystal clear. I mean, our struggle is not the why.
No.
Our struggle is how are we going to transition to doing it? So, like, a thought that I've had, because we both work at Yelp, because Mrs. Monty has a great job, like, a thought that I've had is like, okay, because of the position that I'm in, I don't have as much financial responsibility on a month-to-month basis. Like, I don't have... I have
your
one
overhead
car
is
payment.
much lower.
It's way lower. So what that means is that allows me to have a lot more flexibility. Now if I jump too early, what?
You pay as much for rent as you pay more in rent than we pay in mortgage.
Yeah, which is absolute trash. I'm so upset about that, but there's nothing I could do about it. I had to do what I had to do. But the point just simply is like, okay, cool. So like, I don't have to. One advantage of renting, it's probably the only advantage, is you don't have to do home improvements. You don't have to fix stuff. Like, you just call somebody and they come and fix it. So like, to me, like, my point that I'm getting at here is that because my financial responsibility is lower, that gives me more flexibility to take a little bit more risk and get out ahead of it.
Yeah, totally.
And ramp it up as much more quickly. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. My thought is that at Yelp right now they're basically running a thing where you have to do enough sales on a monthly basis for 6 months in a row, and they'll give you a $25,000 bonus. And so I'm like, okay, let me make the 25 and then let me make the leap, because if at what point, if you've got 50 in the bank, your overhead is controlled, at like how much better does it get? How much more insulated can you be? That's like where my mind goes. Like that's what I struggle with.
Yeah, and I think that's a struggle for a lot of people. I mean, at what point do you just, do
it?
Get rid of the safety net.
Yeah.
You start walking the tightrope. I don't know the answer to that. The hard part is, again, and I know this seems arrogant or egotistical, like I'm in a place that I've worked very hard to get in. I failed at being an entrepreneur multiple times.
Many times.
And I'm okay saying that because I think you almost have to go through that. But I've also recovered from that now. Mrs. Monty and I have worked very hard to be debt-free, and we are debt-free. We've worked very hard to put ourselves in a position where our overhead is manageable. If one of us loses our job, our overhead's manageable. Mm-hmm. If both of us lose our job, we have months and months and months of built-in financing at this point. We've saved. It's just one of those things where you've worked really hard to build this. Mm-hmm. So do you sit here and be comfortable, or do you get outside of your comfort zone and try to build something special? And I personally think you got to get outside of your comfort zone and try to build something special.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't, the alternative is just sitting in your 9 to 5 the rest of your life, which nobody
And there's
wants
not
to
a
do.
whole lot of joy in that.
No, there's not.
No, I'm tired of having to ask when I can go on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm tired of somebody else having control over the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm tired of having to wonder if I can, hey, can I afford that Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk? Well, let me look at my budget. I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
That's why I am doing the things that I am doing.
Yeah. No,
that's why I want to open up my stores. That's why I want to work on Amazon FBA.
And that's the other side. That's funny you bring that up, because that's the other side of the conversation too. FBA is just the start. Like, we have 3, 4, 5 other things that will come once we're able to.
Yeah, we
take
have
the
a
full
scale.
step.
We have a scale built already. We know kind of what our first and our second is.
And YouTube is part of that, by the way, just to make it clear.
Yeah, and I think I know what I probably know what my third and fourth is. Mm-hmm. I have an idea of things that I want to do. Now it's building the foundation so that I can just keep putting levels on the high rise essentially. So anyway, so it's very good. It's a very good day. That's exciting. That we that's a big step. Getting Ungated in toys is a big step.
And I'd just like to say, we've said this a bunch of times before, but I know we've picked up a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new people listening. FBA is something that everybody can do. It is not something that it is not something that takes a lot of money to get into.
It doesn't take a special skill.
No, it's not anything you need a college degree for. It really, the only thing that you need, and I know that we hear this all the time, but honestly, FBA is so true to this, is you just have to be willing to follow the process and work really hard in their process, and then it just takes time, and you got to be consistent.
And you have to be willing to follow their rules. Play the game by their rules for your advantage.